All right, so we have an engine on the way, right, Tach?
Hell yeah.
Coming from where?
I think Japan, Canada.
Japan or Canada. Those are both likely sources of engines, I suppose. So the engine that's on the way has a transmission attached to it. So we are in the process of removing the transmission, which means we have to pull the exhaust, which we just took down. Pretty easy. A couple hangers, pull it out of them. So right now he's working on removing this center brace, which holds up the transmission and the differential. And then we'll get the transmission out of here. So hopefully by the end of the day today, we'll have that out. The engine is supposed to be delivered tomorrow. Hey Tap, what's that?
This is a B6 ZERS.
A B6 ZERS.
Yeah, from 1993.
What do all those letters stand for?
No goddamn clue.
All right.
Okay, wait, okay. Yeah, let's get the money shot.
Oh boy.
Take a look at that.
Wow. That is
Perfect.
something.
Beautiful.
So why do we get a B6 instead of a B8? Is that the other one?
Nope, the other one is also a B6.
Okay. Well, the 1.8 liter.
The reason we got this one instead is the 1.8 liter has completely different mounting points than the 1.6, so it takes a lot of fabrication or parts to swap one of those in.
Engine mounts look good.
Oh, goddamn, it comes with engine mounts? Hell yeah.
The pallet's all busted and stuff. You should take a look at the bottom, make sure you don't have any cracks or anything in it from shipping.
So we've got power steering pump. This is what you'd love to see. 8 slots in that pulley. That means it has the big nose key.
Okay, so that's the big nose. Okay, because you had the small nose or the short nose,
yeah.
which was the reason why we had the failure in the first place, was that keyway.
Yeah, and this one does not have that problem. This one is all good.
Okay, so this is a big nose. And why did we get a transmission?
Why did we get a transmission?
Yeah.
Part of the Gressel. I'm gonna sell my old one.
Okay.
Honestly, I could just reuse the old one. It doesn't really matter. Because of the same transmission, that one already has a short shift in it.
Well, I guess the question is, are you putting a clutch in this?
Yes.
So if you're putting a clutch in this, you might as well put that transmission on. Right?
Mix and match my parts. So I'm probably gonna have to clean that transmission then. Even though we didn't plan
Well,
but I don't mind.
you either need to clean this transmission or you need to clean...
somehow looks dirtier than that one. And I didn't know that was possible. With all the engine was covered in it. We got a free bolt just sitting around.
Uh-huh.
I honestly, you know what? Just from looking at this, I've got no idea what this is from.
Looks like a drain plug to me, but I don't know.
It does look kind of like a drain plug, but it looks nothing like my drain plug, so I'm not sure.
All right, so we lifted the engine up off of the pallet. Here it is, floating very securely by this piece of seat belt. I think that's a piece of seat belt tack.
Is it?
This is what the engine actually had on it when we brought it off of the pallet. So what we're trying to do here is remove the transmission from the engine, which requires loosening up all of these bolts all the way around. So he's working on that, getting them disconnected. We're going to be doing a clutch replacement. We're going to have to look at the rear main seal on this engine and see if it's leaking, and kind of go through all of that stuff. So he's working on this obviously as safely as possible right now. So
My socket came off.
Hate it when my socket comes off. So here we are, get a better look at the engine. This is what you get when you order a JDM engine from eBay. I mean, it's a random oil covered mess-ish thing that has some myriad of bolt-on parts. Like this one happened to come with an AC compressor. We have an alternator, We actually got a distributor, which is kind of cool. Plug wires even. I'm sure those are junk. Some radiator hoses that are cut off, some wiring harnesses that are cut off, and transmission, and looks like the A pipe and B pipe of the exhaust all the way to the end of the headers. So we keep going with this, and when we get the transmission removed, I'll show you that.
Got everything holding the transmission in place out besides these 2 bolts.
Yeah, I finger tightened those in a little bit because...
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I didn't want it to fall off. So is the transmission ready to come off then?
100%, yeah.
Oh. Okay, well then I'll stop holding this camera. These are the only 2 bolts that are in, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shouldn't we lower the engine to the ground?
Probably.
So we can do it without it dropping and slamming on your tiles?
Should we?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably. Okay, well, something's holding this together.
No bolts.
Clutch.
Holding on,
Yeah.
super tight.
So let's lift this back up a little bit just so I can get some more the transmission leverage.
There we go.
I will say that is the one nice thing about the Miata. Hey look, this one looks like your old one.
Don't worry.
Oh, it's funny. Here, camera. This is what it looks like when your rear main seal leaks. Oh, I think every Miata engine in the world must be covered in grease, oil, and crap.
I came prepared with 4 cans of brake cleaner. Put that up on top of the cardboard.
You're not going to be able to do it here. That's a lot. I should take it outside or something. I think it's a 16.
No,
18.
18.
So you remove the clutch pressure plate, and now you're removing the flywheel, which is an 18. Pressure plate was a 14. 19?
Yeah. 19.
Okay. 19.
Oh, weird size.
Tach, what are we working on now?
I pulled off the camshafts, I replaced the camshaft seals. I've got camshaft stem, or valve stem seals, but I'm not sure if I want to replace them because I'm pretty sure I need a spring compressor and I don't really care that much, so.
Okay. And that's a new head gasket?
New head gasket, I scraped the old one off with a razor blade right there.
Okay.
I just replaced the gasket on this water line, and there's another one, cooling line. There's another one right here that I'm trying to get to right now.
Okay.
That thing was full of crap, by the way.
So you're going to replace that gasket, then what are you going to do next?
After that, I think I'm just going to put the camshafts back on.
Okay.
And just slap it on top of there.
Put the head on the engine?
Yeah. There's a few other gaskets I need to replace. Got a complete timing kit, so I'm going to replace these tensioners as well, make sure everything's torqued down properly, because I imagine after 30 years some of the stuff has gotten loose.
So we have the head reinstalled with a head gasket, head bolts are torqued. What are you working on next?
Well, right now I'm putting on the intake manifold gasket, and then I'm going to torque these camshafts, whatever the hell you call them, down to spec as well. Right now they're just kind of on, just to keep them in place.
Got it.
And then after that,
And these are all labeled, right? So I1, I2, I3, I4, I5, E2, E3, E4, E5. It's kind of right there stamped in it. Gotcha.
once I'm done putting all that back on, I'm going to put all the timing stuff on, following those instructions.
Do we have spark plugs here?
No.
I think well.
We can take the ones out of the old engine. They have like 10 miles on. Probably less. They have like 5.
Okay.
because we put those in right before we just took the engine apart.
And you put the new camshaft seals in as well?
Yes, but I didn't put the valve stem seal things on because
Yeah.
I didn't care enough.
I don't even know that I have the tools to remove the valves, so.
Yeah.
Your, I looked at the other engine, the dipstick on that's broken too.
Oh.
So, they're both that way. You're gonna have to get another dipstick or not have a handle, one of the two.
Yeah.
I mean, it still
works.
seals, yeah. Okay, so next you're gonna do the camshaft bolts.
Yep. And then valve cover. That doesn't make sense to me.
So where are we at? You're installing the timing components?
Yes.
Okay, and you put a new water pump in? That's the new water pump right there?
Yes.
And then there's a new belt tensioner over there on the left?
And another one right here on the right.
That's just a pulley, right? Or idler bearing or something like that? Right? It's just a bearing?
Yeah.
Not a tensioner? Okay.
I'm hoping that my engine doesn't squeak like the old one does, since I've got new bearings and stuff.
Cool. So what's next?
What's next is finishing up all this timing stuff, then putting on the valve
Timing
cover
belt.
gasket.
Valve cover gasket, valve cover?
Yes.
Okay. Then what?
And then I get my old exhaust headers to put on this because I effed up the new ones to get them off.
Okay.
And then...
Well, really just effed up the heat shield, but...
Yeah. Clutch,
okay.
pressure plate, transmission, car.
Oh, so that's the old clutch and pressure plate, the flywheel, which and this flywheel is going to be reused, but you have a new clutch and pressure plate, which are over there in the box. Exity. Okay,
Yep.
Got it.
Got a stage 1 organic clutch that I want to put in instead of just an OEM replacement because why not?
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, Tach, so where are we at? You're removing the engine mounts
I'm moving this engine out.
because that one got bent.
Bent to hell.
Okay. Got the timing stuff put all together, the pulley on, got the thermostat in, replaced the water pump, got the alternator mounted up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put these on as well.
Okay. Coils. They need to remove all of these though. Okay. So what's next?
Next is I put in a engine mount from the old engine
Okay.
on this, and then I'm probably going to put on the intake manifold.
Okay. And then what?
Then I guess exhaust, clutch, pressure plate, transmission, wiring harness.
We have to put the flywheel on first, right?
Oh yeah, flywheel.
But I'd probably wait on the exhaust until it's in the car. I don't know. So what are we doing now, Tach?
Sourcing parts from my old engine because
What parts are we sourcing from the old engine?
this coolant pumpy thinger.
With a thermostat in it?
Yes. Some of these bolts, my old exhaust headers,
Okay.
just a bunch of random little things.
Okay. All right, so it looks like, we got the intake on. We got the distributor on. We got our wires connected. Spark plugs are all in. I put the V-belt on and the alternator on. And we've got our clutch in, which is a new Exity, stage 1. And you're working on
That's all of them.
the pressure plates.
Yep.
Cool.
Now we just have to remove a couple hoses and
Remove-
put the transmission on.
Okay.
And then we could put it in the car. I think.
Okay. All right, so we pulled out the flywheel bolts and then removed this cap that holds the rear main seal. So there's 410s in here, and this just kind of comes out this direction. So I just used like a wood chisel actually, and kind of got behind it, and then just pried on it a little bit, and it pops right off. It's attached using RTV silicone, and then this is the actual rear main seal right here. So we're going to pop this out and put a new one in its place. So we have our new rear main seal pushed into the cup. I removed the all of the RTV silicone, which is everywhere, and we're going to work on getting this reinstalled. One thing that did not get included in our kits is this gasket that goes on the bottom. So we're going to put some RTV on both sides of it and kind of squeeze it out of there and just hope that it stays sealed. It doesn't look perfect. This end's like squashed, this end's squashed, so it is what it is, I guess. Alright, so we've applied the RTV silicone to both sides of this gasket, to the back side of this, and we're going to tuck it into place here and get this bolted in. Alright, so here we are. I guess this is day 3-ish. So I'm going to spend some time here this morning kind of getting this stuff cleaned up. He hasn't woken up yet. But the engine is, for all intents and purposes, ready to go in the car. Believe that the wiring is all in the right spots. Believes that the hoses are all in the right spots. Took a bunch of pictures of everything beforehand. Transmission. You know, we're going to try to do this together. We took the engine out by itself and then took the transmission out by itself. We're going to try to put it all in as one assembly because splitting the two in half underneath the car was really hard to do. In order to do that, we've got some physical limitations because of this garage. So one thing is this garage door opener is in the way-ish. Really, I should have probably put the car in the middle so that we had more height, but I think we can work around that. The lift, the cherry picker, can only reach in so far, and this has kind of a lot of crap to the front of the engine. So what we ended up doing to get the engine out actually was we lifted it out from the side. So removed this fender and we lifted it out from this side. Because otherwise you end up taking that boom and you're resting it right against the front of the car. And it's not the best body in the world, but you don't need to make it any worse. So I'm just gonna spend some time here this morning cleaning this stuff up. When he gets out here, we'll lower this down, not to the floor, but the quick jack has 2 lift points. So we'll lower it down to the lower one, just to give us a little bit more room. We're gonna have to lower this and grab this at a lower point so that I don't have to be lifting so high to get it over. I mean, right now I can't lift high enough to clear the car. So we'll adjust that, and then we'll probably maybe try to get it put in. so we got the engine in, and you're fighting with the AC compressor.
Yep. That is exactly what I'm doing.
Got it. All right, so the engine is mostly in. Coolant has been added. The belts are on. The intake is on. The wiring harness is connected. The fuel lines are connected. The transmission is mounted. The drive shaft is in. I have to put the drain plug in and add some oil to the engine. He's working on installing the turret and the shifter into the top of the transmission right now, so almost done with that. So, what do we have left?
Transmission fluid.
Okay, transmission fluid.
Where'd that crush washer go?
I don't know. Transmission fluid, engine oil, battery. The clutch needs to be bled. What else?
Other than that, I don't hurt my crush washer.
I mean, obviously the bumper needs to go back on, and the fenders and the hood, and
Yeah, but we can try to start it just to make sure it works. In fact, it would be wise to do so, probably.
you have to hold in the clutch pedal.
No, I have to hold them both.
No, just clutch. Good.
No. Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Let's do this.
Well, it's like,
Wah, wah, wah.
that can be.
Try it again. That's so loud.
It smells nice.
All right. It's got an exhaust. So, I had a light coolant leak. Got the clutch bled. I don't know. Worked on a bunch of other stuff here randomly. Got to put the intake back on. Got to put the hood back on. And Tach went to go get some transmission fluid because he ordered it from ECS. It was supposed to be here tomorrow. Hasn't even shipped yet. And it's now showing that it's going to be delivered like Thursday or Friday. So anyway, today's Monday, I guess, for context. Yay, ECS. So yeah, here we are. Continuing. I'm starting to clean the garage out. Trying to get some room in here so I can actually function. So